Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working in educational institutions and companies, helping them support their well-being. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference in people's lives. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Angela. Angela, thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Thank you, Jasmine, for the invitation. And yes, I'm a transformational coach. I'm a certified transformational coach. I work with education and corporate and CSR, basically, helping everyone find their balance between their work and their well-being.
Oh, wow. That sounds super important. And you chose this title, Educational Leadership and Wellbeing Culture. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose that and where it's come from?
Sure. Educational leadership is a topic that is very close to my heart. And the thing is that back in 2007, I was going through a lot of changes personally. I was going through a divorce, I was changing my city, and I was looking for a job, right? And I have always been a teacher. I applied for a teaching position and I was appointed as a middle leader in a school. And I have to say that because of everything that was happening in my life at the moment, I felt that I failed miserably in my role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's basically, or it was basically, I knew I had the skills. The people who obviously hired me saw my potential. I had the skills. I had the experience as well, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared because I was going through a lot of emotional stuff. So then when I started learning about coaching from in 2017, I decided that I wanted to do something that was also in education and that had to do with leaders. Because when I was there, I was just thrown into the role, nothing, no support, no nothing. So I felt that I could have not necessarily have emotional support, but I needed some sort of support back then. So now in the coaching that I do, I am very focused on leadership in corporate, leadership in education, in the education sector, because I do believe that although leaders are doing a great job as leaders, there are other things that they need to work on if they want their collaborators to thrive, to be better, and to excel in their jobs.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So there's so many questions I wanted to ask you. So the first one is when you had that job, like what support were you not getting that you think would have really helped you at that time?
I had no support whatsoever. I was just at all. I mean, obviously academically, they do what they need to do. They give you a folder with everything that you need to do. And as a leader back then, I wasn't even introduced to my team. I didn't even know who my team was. So I started getting to know the people in the team as I was working already. So it would have been nice just to have a little bit of background on what was the culture in the school, what was their values as well. So I needed to align my values to the values of my team as well. I needed to know a little bit about what happened with the previous leader, why the previous leader was not working, and why I was there in that role. I didn't have anything of that. So for me, that would have been important. That would have helped me communicate with my team properly because I didn't. I was so thrilled that I was given this opportunity as a leader that I was just I was just, wanted to do everything. I just wanted to have the job done. I just wanted to prove the leaders, the headmaster, the headmistress, and everyone that believed in me that I was capable and I was doing a good job. And the one thing that I didn't do was to learn to communicate with my team first.
Right. Okay. No, that's really interesting. And it sounds like from everything that you've said, it sounds like you felt you might have felt alone and nobody really connected with you at the beginning and had these real important conversations, which would have really helped you. It's not like, it doesn't sound like you were asking for much at all. It's just sounds like some conversations were needed, and that would have really helped you.
Yeah, definitely. But to be fair, I think that since 2007, when this happened, to today, things have changed a lot. Coaching has come along as well. And there is this conversation outside in social media and everywhere where leaders are being more aware of where they should be, what are the things that they should be giving their teams as well. Because we need to remember that there are no leaders if there are no followers. They also need to be in the picture. You need to consider what are their needs, your team needs, right? Because most of the times it happens that leaders are just so focused on themselves, so focused on doing a good job to show corporate or to show, the higher power, that they completely forget about what's going on.
Wow. So for you, what is effective leadership?
For me, effective leadership would be a leader that is empathetic, definitely. A leader that knows how to communicate well, not only with the team, but also with their other leaders. A leader that, tell me.
Sorry, just more information there. So someone who can effectively communicate. So communicate about what exactly? Like, is there anything in particular, or you just mean in general, or is it just about work, or like what should they be communicating about?
I think that communication in general, I think that if you cannot communicate the way you feel, what you're thinking, what you expect, everything, then nothing is going to work. So not necessarily communication in terms of work, but communication in general. And I'll give you an example. If you feel that as a leader, if you see or you feel that something is going on and you don't know how to ask the right questions, if you don't know how to come closer to some of the team members, then that's it. Your job cannot be, the best it could. Probably that person might be able to ask what they need from you, because the leader also needs to support the team members. So going back to the question of what is effective leadership, so I would say definitely communication, empathy, curiosity. I do believe that one of the best things that a leader should have is that willingness of always learn about their team, learn about their own leadership style, learn about themselves, learn about the environment. So learning for me is a massive component of great leadership. And definitely reflection. I also believe that as a leader, we need to be able to self-reflect on what we're doing, how we're doing it. If we also need support as well, because that is something that I definitely not necessarily support. A leader not necessarily knows everything. They need to understand and they need to know that sometimes they also need support, and support from their team as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, no, you mentioned quite a lot of things. And empathy, I think that was the first one you said, was empathy. So how does that look like, empathy? When you have empathy, so do you just mean being understanding, or like how much empathy is enough as well?
I think that that's a great question, actually. I think that leaders, you need to find that right balance where empathy comes along, but not necessarily going overboard where you can allow everything to happen. But I think that it comes with the job. It comes with the experience. It comes with the exchange with your team as well. Definitely, empathy is is something that brings you closer to your team, and then it also affects the communication, as I said as well, because when you feel empathy, when you're empathetic towards what other person is feeling, then you can understand, you can offer support, you can communicate in a different way. I even think that when you hear the other person, when you connect with the other person, your way of communication changes.
Definitely. And do you think you can learn empathy, to be empathetic? Like, do you think that can be learnt? Because I know a lot of people who have empathy. I mean, I believe I have a lot of empathy, but I don't know if it's something you can learn. What do you think? Like, from somebody else, or maybe I feel like you learn it from your own experiences of pain, maybe. So you're more conscious, become more conscious. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. For me personally, because this is a huge question, and I'm sure that I don't think that anybody will have the right answer, but for me, but for me personally, I think that you can learn to be empathetic, and the way to do it would be to be more in connection with yourself, be more aware of what you feel, how you feel, being more mindful as well of what's going on, because then, and only then, you can relate to other people. It's not easy. I don't think it will be an easy and straight path to it if you feel that you're not empathetic at all. But I think that you can start building it, like everything else, like the other questions that you normally have about leaders. Are leaders made or born, for example, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that although there are some people that are born with leadership skills, there are other people that could also learn some of the leadership skills that they need according to their own characteristics and their own strengths, their own leadership styles as well.
Yeah, no, brilliant. No, thank you so much, Angela. Let's have a look at these comments. So Mohammed has left his email address. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining us. Anud says it's her major and master as well. Hi, Hanud. Thank you for joining us. And Jacob. Hi, Jacob. How are you doing? Jacob says, hey, Jasmine and Angela, and thank you for addressing yet another valuable topic. From your point of view, what role can the team play to support leaders make the wellbeing culture a success? Thank you, Jacob. Oh, yes, we haven't spoke too much about well-being, but it's all well-being as well, isn't it? Everything you're saying helps our well-being. But what do you think about that?
I'm reading the question again. So from your point of view, what role can the team play to support leaders make a well-being culture? I think, I always go back to communication. Always. And I think that when you start a leadership position and you are open to your team, and you make you make sure that your team feels listened to, taken into account, supported as well, you can also tell them to ask you directly for the things that they need.
So I love that. Brilliant. I love that. Yes.
So that is a great support for your leader, because you cannot lead if you don't know what their needs are. So for example, as long as you have to create a bond with your team. I don't believe that this transactional leadership is good enough, or good enough for certain teams and certain industries. But if you are able to ask as well your team what your needs are, what you need from them, they will then ask what they need from you. And that's the most amazing support you both can get. Great communication, open communication, honesty, authenticity, all those core values that I believe, and that's also that I work, some of the work that I do as well in leadership is explaining leaders about core values. What are your values? What are your team's values? Because when you're supporting everything, right, taking into account those values, then everything moves forward, because it's like you are tuned in the right frequency. You're all aiming to the same goal in the same way, if that makes sense. I hope that I have somehow answered Jacob's question.
Yeah, I think you have. And thank you, Jacob, for such a great question. And we've got somebody else here and I can't see the name. My leadership slogan is support me, challenge me, coach me. This created a shared language of leadership that developed consistency within line management across the organization. Leaders need to challenge, yes, but they also need to support and coach people to meet these challenges.
Love that.
Love that. I love that. Support me, challenge me, coach me. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Anud says, I just graduated from educational leadership, but I did not practice. I work in higher education for 7 years. What do you recommend I do to be more specialized in it? Good question. So more specialized in leadership.
Right. So if I understand it, I mean, you have graduated from educational leadership, but you haven't been working in higher education for a long time. So you just want to be more specialized in educational leadership, correct?
Yeah, she hasn't had the practice, only the theory.
Okay, so my suggestion would be go back and start talking to all your coworkers before. Ask them, talk to them, have these group conversations about what's going on for them, what's happening, what they like, what they don't like, what they like to see in their own leaders. So you can have a broad view of what's really happening. Because I'm doing an MBA in educational leadership as well. And
okay.
And I love this topic. I mean, I really, and as I said, I like learning. So there are so many reviews and there are so many paperworks and so many theory about leadership. But at the end of the day, whatever the book says, if it doesn't match your reality, then it's not useful, right? Especially because there are different cultures, there are different environments. Of course, the theory will always be there, but there's nothing more valuable than case studies. If you can actually go to school, if you can actually talk to teachers, even to leaders, and ask them what's happening for them, what have been their challenges, what do they think they need from the school or from the industry, I think that would be one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
I think that's brilliant. And like you said, you're using the people around you. So that, I mean, you don't have to always look so far, do you? You've got, the people around you can be really useful. Thank you so much, Angela, for that. And thank you, Anud, for the question. And Jacob says, we seem to talk about what leaders need to do and how to change. So my question is, how about the other part, which is the rest of the team? What responsibilities do they have to bear?
I mean, the responsibilities comes with the roles, I would say. And there is something that I've also learned during that time when I was a middle leader, and is that teachers know what they need to do. Sometimes we have these idea that as leaders, we come to tell them what to do and how to do it. They've been in the business for so long, and they're doing a great job, an amazing job.
Yes.
Maybe we come there just to, help them or support them in their own challenges. Maybe as leaders, what we need to do is to have their backs, with the higher power or the head master, the head mistress, sorry. So it's all about that. They do have responsibilities. They know what to do. And as I said, as long as there is a two-way communication, I think that they will express what they need. And if the moment comes, or if the situation arises, then whatever responsibility they are not taking, you can address it and you can talk to them. Because for me right now in this conversation, it would be very difficult to say what are their responsibilities, because I do believe that will depend from, from each school and each environment. But believe me when I say teachers know what they're doing, and they're doing an amazing, a great job.
They are. That's because we were both teachers, so we know.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, and you know what? And sometimes I feel that there are some teachers as well that they would be amazing leaders. So
Yes.
if you don't want to, if you know for a fact that you don't want to be there forever and ever in the same role, why not even actually helping and challenging the teachers and coaching those teachers that one day might be great leaders? That would be amazing, actually. So you can step outside and carry on. You know what, Jasmine, that was something that I would have loved to do when I was a teacher. I would have,
really?
Yeah, I would have wanted, to have that same level kind of responsibilities, roles, and things. You know what I mean? Because I don't see schools that have middle leaders or leaders stepping, off the role and become a teacher again, and then giving that same role to a teacher that has the potential, for example. That would be amazing. But it doesn't happen often because they see leadership as a role of power more than collaborative, or a collaborative role, or something that brings collaboration, association, and all of that, I would say.
No, exactly. No, thank you, Angela. And thank you, Jacob, for such a great question. And also, I was going to say, other responsibilities, like you mentioned earlier, Angela, I think the rest of the team could have, like you already mentioned, is when the leaders create the safe space, then I think the rest of the team need to use that and speak up, like you said, ask the questions, because at the end, and speak up how they're, if there's a problem or something, because at the end of the day, the best leader is just not a mind reader. Like you can't read everybody's mind, can you? Of course, it's your responsibility to create that environment, safe environment. But at the end of the day, the rest of the team have to speak up, because how do you know what's happening if no one's okay? Maybe you can sense some things, but like you said, there has to be communication both ways.
Which is why I said at the beginning that the best thing that you can do is actually get to know your team, get to know your
Yes,
and let them know you as well. So be clear, be consistent, be responsible, be liable. Would that be the word?
Reliable, reliable.
Yeah, reliability. Like, I mean, this is what you are expecting from me, so I will give it to you. I mean,
reliable, maybe.
Yeah, reliable.
Yeah, accountable.
Accountable. Thank you. That's the word. Accountable.
I got mixed up as well.
Sorry. Yes. Oh, sorry about that. Yes, accountable. That would be the word. And but yeah, because you need to create that safe space, and you need to coach them, and that's when coaching also comes in, because when you make the right questions, then they can possibly say what they need, and they can express themselves. And once they get used to you making those questions, those powerful questions, those interesting questions, then they're actually going to start asking for it. Say, come on, ask me more. I want you to ask me more. I want to tell you more.
Exactly. You get excited, don't you, when somebody's asking you powerful questions? What is the what powerful question? Like, when I say powerful question, leadership, what's the first question that comes to your mind that you would ask your team?
How do you really feel about
Oh, really? So it would come back to that's really interesting that you said that, because I was just thinking about emotional awareness, and then I thought I'd ask you what question, and then wow, you said that, because I use that question a lot, and I wanted to know what you thought about that question as well. Really. So do you think it always comes back to our emotions?
There is a mojo that I have followed for decades now, and it's thoughts, emotions, actions. So whatever you're feeling comes, I mean, if you track it, it goes to your thoughts. The way you think, or what you're thinking about something, is going to make a response emotionally. You're going to feel something about it. And the way that you're feeling is going to drive your actions. So if you're feeling about something, definitely you need to think, okay, what is it that I'm actually thinking about this situation that is making me feel anxious, sad, angry, frustrated, or whatever that is? And then you can start, again, changing your thoughts, flip them, make them positive, not necessarily, toxic positive, but
Yeah.
applied positive psychology, basically. Make them positive, say them out loud, see what is the response, what's your emotional response, and then you're going to start acting and doing things in a different way.
Yes. And that's, I love that. Thanks. And that's the role of each individual, isn't it? I think this is our job, if you like, to work on ourselves. Like, I really do believe that we have the responsibility of working on ourselves. Like, we all have our stuff to deal with. And I think that's our responsibility, and our emotional awareness. Like, I do think that's our responsibility. What do you think? I don't think it's the leader's responsibility. What do you think about that? No, it's ours, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's like everything, like any relationship, really. I mean, it comes up to yourself. I mean, there is just so much the other person can do for you.
Yes, exactly.
So your responsibility would lie on getting to know yourself.
Yes.
Kindly.
Yes.
Understanding what's going on for you. Therefore, you're going to be able to understand others as well. And you're going to be able to communicate in the right way and in a sincere way as well.
I love that. I totally agree. It all starts with us.
Yeah, which is why I said that one of the characteristics of a good leader is also self-reflection. And I do believe that it comes to everyone as well. I mean, how aware are you of your feelings or your thoughts, and what are you going to do with that? You get all the information. What are you going to do with it?
Exactly. And like, we hear this a lot, don't we, in coaching? Self-awareness is the first step in all of this. And but how much awareness? Because the thing is, there's so many levels of awareness, aren't there? You can have some kind of, like, everybody has some kind of self-awareness, but how much do you need? Because it's sort of never ending, isn't it? This self-awareness journey. And I think sometimes I was thinking about it today, actually. I was thinking, I think the best leader is a leader that digs deep within themselves, like the deeper, the more painful, the better.
Yeah. The deeper you go, the better.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. The point is, again, as I said before, what are you going to do with it? Because you can dig really deep, right?
Oh, yeah.
And once you discover, okay, yes, I'm there. I'm very deep. What do I do? And again, as I said, that's when coaching comes in as well, because leader can coach, but also can be coached, right? And if they have that safe space, I was going to say that beautiful safe space.
Oh, I love it. Yes, where the magic can happen.
Yeah, where you can actually, peel that onion and express what's really going on. Then you can have these breakthroughs and all these amazing transformation, which is what I am. I'm a transformational coach, and that's what I'm looking for in my clients and with the people that I work for and work with as well, is that they transform their thoughts, they transform their lives into something that it's nicer, better, more magical. That's it. That's what I
evolving. Oh, thank you so much, Angela. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I could talk to you for hours and hours, but as we know, it's 30 minutes live. So I just want to say it's been such a pleasure talking to you today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? And also, how can people find you?
I just want to say thank you so much for the invitation. This is clearly a topic that I am passionate about. I love it. I could talk for hours as well, but thank you so much for this. I really, really loved it. And people can find me in LinkedIn, or they can send me an email to info@educationhall.co.uk.
Yeah, maybe if you could put that on the post.
Yes.
And while I just read out this comment, so last comment: leaders create leaders, Giving colleagues opportunities to shadow other leaders so they grow their skills and awareness is very powerful. I used to let colleagues be principal for the day. They learned a lot, gained a wider perspective, but within the safe space of being coached every step of the way. Amazing. I love that.
Amazing. That's it. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. And one more. Thank you. It was interesting. Thank you so much, Diana. And thank you, Angela. Thank you, everybody, for your amazing comments and questions. We've got another one. It's this replica of your yesterday session. Okay, so somebody else did something similar. Yeah, this topic is a hot topic right now.
Amazing.
And I love,
yes.
and whoever you talk to, you're going to get a different perspective as well, aren't you? So it's very interesting. So Mia, Shofik, right? Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Angela. If you have any questions or comments for Angela, please message her directly or on the post, or myself as well. And I will see you all next week.
Bye.